If you've ever looked at your marketing and thought, I know exactly what it is I need to do, but how am I going to get all of this done in what's objectively just a little bit of time? Shannon of Sunday Muse Design gets you because she is you. Shannon is a busy small business owner with a design business, and she's also someone who has really strict constraints on her time as a parent. So she wasn't just looking for a way to get herself organized with her marketing. She needed a way to do it quickly because of those constraints and up to snuff with the brand that she's building. That's exactly why Shannon has kept using Enji for the past few years. And today she's walking us through exactly what it does to help her get her marketing done, from big picture strategy and content planning to tracking what's working. So if you're curious about Enji, but not sure yet that it's worth adding another tool to your life, this one's for you.
Hey, I'm Shannon. I run Sunday Muse Design. This is a brand and a web design studio for business owners who have been in business for at least 2 years and their business is doing so well, but their brand is like two growth spurts back there. And so I help them catch up and close that gap.
It's funny side note for everybody watching this. Shannon and I have had a lot of conversations about how AI has ruined the word gap for the two of us because it's something that we both have used for quite a long time and now we feel like it's off limits. So if anyone who's watching this has a better word for describing something like that, hit your girls up because we are actively looking for it.
Yes.
But that is the aside because I am really excited for you to show me just a few things about how NG helps you get your marketing planned, but then also like really get it done. And another quick aside, one of the things about Shannon and how she operates her business is she is, I mean, everybody is time poor, but Shannon does a really good job from the outside, right? Like how you feel about this may be different.
Yeah,
But
sure.
from what I see from the outside is you do a really good job of setting up time constraints and like boundaries for yourself of when the work is going to get done across everything you need to do in your business. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you because you do have a lot of structure around, hey, I can only spend this much time working on marketing and if it's not on my calendar, like it's not happening, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that was my sort of selfish, but I think really helpful reason for wanting to have this
Sure.
conversation because a lot of folks are just like too willy-nilly about when they get their marketing done, and you are on the opposite end of that spectrum. And so I think you're a really great example of how like folks can go about this. So
Awesome.
my first question for you is about how you sit down and do your more strategic planning. So I really just am curious to know how often are you doing that and what are like the one or two things that you make sure that you are thinking about when you're sitting down and planning out your calendar for the next month or two.
Yeah, well, it depends on what the season is. Where I am in, it's about to be summer mode, which I have a tiny human, so summer is a different ball game. But the rest of the year is the ideal scenario. So typically I rely on my blog quite a bit, and my emails. Per Taylor's recommendation last year, I stopped Instagram. I get on stories when I feel like it, and I have a 9 grid up, and I change that out every quarter. So Instagram posts are not a thing for me. I don't know the last time I did a reel. Doesn't matter. But so my blog posts are really like the cornerstone of everything. And I have a new blog post every other week. And the rest of the content gets built off of that. So if I am right, am I answering your question the way you wanted me
Hmm.
to?
Yep.
Okay. If I have a blog post, then I know that that blog post is going to be promoted for the next 2 weeks. And that also means the pins are going to get created, written, scheduled in NG. The email newsletter is going to somehow mention that blog post for those 2 weeks. One email might be a little bit of a aside, one might be a little bit more in depth, etc. And so I'm building that out in NG, but it's very strategic and like, okay, this is what I'm talking about for these 2 weeks. And I line it up if I'm going to promo something one of my services heavily, then I'm making sure that whatever blog post I'm writing is going to align with whatever I'm promoting.
That's fantastic. So when you're planning out your blog posts, are you planning those out? Like, do you sit down at the start of the month and go, here are the two blog posts that I'm going to write this month? Or how far ahead are you planning out your marketing? And there's no wrong answer here.
I do it for the year.
Oh, wow. I was
I
not
do it for the year.
expecting that answer.
But I will say that sometimes I'll go back and be like, this blog
Mm,
post, this topic isn't going to do it. So I
yep.
might, pivot for that particular blog post. But yeah, at the end of each year, I've always done it that way.
That's
I've just
fantastic.
always, now I will throw in other ones like, okay, I finished this branding project. I need to write a case study.
Hmm.
That'll be like a different blog post, but my like cornerstone content, I plan out a year in advance.
That's fantastic. I know that a lot of people strive to do that, and so it's cool to like know that that's actually what you do. And so when you're sitting down and planning out your year, is that like a multi-day brainstorming session
Usually,
or yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
usually. I would like for it to get done in a day, but like you said, I work in tiny blocks of
Yeah.
time. And
Yeah.
so it's usually a multi-day event.
Yeah. But also I mean, if I were to sit down and try to come up with a year's worth of blog posts,
It,
that's a
yeah,
like a mentally
it's a lot. Yeah.
exhausting sort of exercise. So I think it's good that you break it up into
And I will say,
chunks.
I'm not outlining or anything at that
It's
point.
just
I'm just
topics.
merely topics. And if I
Yep.
have like an idea or a note, I'll put it in like
Yep.
the description, like, oh, okay,
Yep.
remember to do this.
Yep. Yep. So would you be cool showing us what your NG calendar looks like and just
Mhm.
like, you know, because the people are
There's
always curious to
there's
see
a lot in
how
there.
I know. I think it's always so fun for me to see. Well, you're on all items. So, dear viewer, she's got this is like the master view of everything that Shannon has going on in her marketing because she's on all of her items. So, she's hovering over one of the filters. So, like she could change that out to just be the task view or just see
Yeah,
content
I
in
could
different
do
modes.
that.
So I often my calendar
There we
looks
go.
like
There
yours.
we go.
So I often am like I'm just in content mode or I'm just in task mode just to like make
Yeah,
it
it's
cleaner for me to see.
I
So
should do that. I tend to do this mode, which is probably not helping my squirrely brain, but
but it's nice to see everything in one calendar.
yeah,
Um
and I like that the pins condensed down because I
yep.
think that was a newer feature before
Yep.
they were like all listed.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, it
Yep,
was a lot.
totally.
It was a lot.
Totally. It was a lot. So that's thank you for sharing your calendar because it is
Sure.
always so interesting to see. Some people's calendars like have a lot of white space because they like Danison, I know of Bowtie and Brush. I did another interview like this with him, and his calendar, he really batches his time. And
Mhm.
like I just saw on Instagram the other day, he sat down and he hammered out like the next 2 months of
That's amazing.
scheduling all of his social media content. And
Wow.
so like everybody goes about it in a slightly different way.
Sure.
So, I know one of the features that Engie has that when you and I had a conversation, you were like, what? That's how I can use this? And that's the marketing campaign tool.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about how you decide what's going to be a marketing campaign now versus like, I mean, you weren't using them in the past. So,
No,
we,
and I still feel like there's a lot of room for me to be using that particular piece better. Like I think it was one of your videos and you put in I, maybe it was a guest blog post like swap that we did. I can't remember, but I just remember thinking, "Oh, I didn't think about that." And like measuring the results from that. So for example, I've got in here, I'm doing a collab with somebody over the summer. And previously, I don't know that I would have thought to like track that. So I've gotten here that collab, which I also built out the task that I needed to complete to make sure that my piece of that collab is ready to go on time. But I'm also tracking, okay, my goal for that one is to get more people on my email list. And so
Mhm.
I'm going to be tracking and seeing did I actually get people on my email list? If so, how many? And then kind of saying, of course, what worked and what didn't work at the end of that campaign. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think before I was just tracking, oh, I'm promoting my brand strategy a little bit heavier this quarter. I'm going to track that. And that was all like tracking in the campaigns and building out in the campaigns, and not all these even like smaller collaborations and partnerships that I do throughout the year, and or my affiliate promotions. So yeah, I didn't think about doing that.
Yeah, campaigns, for me, anytime that you're going to put extra time into something or extra money, right? It's worth making sure that that extra effort actually turned into extra results for you.
Sure.
So I'm glad to be like the little campaign fairy godmother that's like, this could be a campaign and this could be a campaign. And these are all of the ways that you can
Well,
better
we're sitting there
organize your
talking,
marketing.
and I'm like, wait a minute, I have like a big collaboration coming up in May. I don't think it's an Enji. I need to go put it
Yeah.
in there so I can
Yeah.
track that.
Yeah,
So,
so you can track it and project manage the
right?
crap out of it.
Yes.
That's why I love the campaigns. So my last question for you is about tracking your results. And so I'm just curious to know, how often are you looking at your results tab and your KPIs? Like, is it just monthly on KPI day, or are you popping in there at a different sort of cadence?
Usually it's at least monthly. I actually
Hmm.
went in a couple of days ago. So I was like, I can't remember like how this particular, I can't remember what I was looking at, but how this particular channel is performing. And so I went back into my results tab to look at that. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Or maybe it's like a current season leading into summer, and I want to be
Hmm.
reminded of how do summers typically look for me in
Mm.
various different arenas, email, social media, leads, sales, and I'm able to very quickly look in there and go back, I think the past 2 years, 3 years, I can't remember how many years at this
Yeah,
point.
if you click into the data in a chart, there's a view to
Yeah,
see all of your numbers historically, but
that's
the
what it is.
charts show you the past 13 months. So you can see, like, we're
Yes.
recording this in April of 2026. So on one chart, you currently can see April 2025 through April 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have gone back in
Yeah.
more than just monthly, but
Yeah.
at minimum monthly.
Yeah. And so when you're using your KPI charts to make decisions about going forward, is it also about setting expectations for
Yes.
yourself? Yeah.
Yes. I feel like I can't remember what month it was recently. I felt like I had a really slow month compared to
Mm.
previous years. And so that gave me the like nudge, well, go look, go actually look. And so I looked, I was like, oh, I actually did better this month than I have in the past. So okay, there's a mindset thing I need to work on. But yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah. I mean, it's super important to take what we're feeling about how our business is going or what's happening in it, and then actually back it up with like the reality of what's going on. Because, you know, as business owners, we constantly are pushing for growth, and a lot of us have a more mindset around things versus, I mean, there are some businesses that are like, where I am is the only place I need to be, and that's totally
Yeah.
fine. But if you are in a growth mindset, then it is really easy to go like, things are going too slow, or the graphs aren't going up and to the right fast enough.
Right.
And then you take like a half beat and actually look at what happened. You're like,
You're
oh
like,
no, actually, like,
oh, oh, I'm fine.
I
Yeah.
did do pretty okay. So I love that. Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for taking the time
Absolutely.
to talk about how you're using Enji to like plan out your marketing and get stuff done in your tiny bits of time, because you've got your wonderful tiny human around. But if people want to learn more about Sunday Muse Design, where can they find you?
SundayMuseDesign.com.
Or
Easy.
or Instagram to look at Shannon's quarterly 9 grid.
Stories yeah, my
Yes.
stories when I'm on there on threads. But if you
Yes.
really want to join my world, email my email list. I email.
Yes,
You
you
might just
email.
not get one a week. Uh,
And can
yeah,
confirm that her emails are great, can confirm that your threads
thank
are
you.
also super entertaining.
Oh,
So, because I
thanks.
follow you in all the places. Well, have a beautiful rest of your day, Shannon, and thank you so
You
much for
too.
taking the time to do this. What I love about Shannon's approach is that she's not doing anything complicated. She's using Enji the way it was meant to be used, to make sure that her marketing to dos aren't just a glorified list that ends up hanging over her head. She's getting her marketing done, even though she has so little time to block for it. And if this sounds like something that you've been missing in your quest to do your own marketing, you can try Enji for free at enji.co for 14 days. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And I'm genuinely curious to know what's currently keeping you from getting your marketing done.